but I do remember giving him a look. I don't know if I carried on to say, get that out. I don't remember what I said. But to my knowledge, he removed it from my home. Question, after 3 questions of asking, so yes or no, was there a conversation about seeing this gun and wanting it out of the house? Answer, yes. Question, and as a result of that, you didn't see it again? Answer, correct. Question, do you know what happened to the gun? Answer, no. Is that right so far?
Yes.
And then,
I'll object to any further reading, Your Honor.
well, just in the context of what the question was.
Let's see the transcript.
So, ma'am, did I fairly read that part of the grand jury questioning about whether you had spoken to him and what was said?
Yes,
Okay. On Friday, I think I asked you a similar question.
I believe so.
Okay, and what did you say on Friday?
I said that I gave him a look.
Okay. And do you know today whether you actually had a conversation or not?
I said that I don't know if we really exchanged words.
Okay. And fair to say, you don't know what happened to the gun, meaning you didn't see him take it out and do something with it. It's just the next time you went and looked there, it wasn't there.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, Mr. Rankin had asked you some questions about the first occasion that you recall Odin and Aaron ever meeting, and that was after that Patriots game, an exhibition game of some sort.
Yes,
Okay. And you remember that he had come back to your home, and you remember what time he actually stayed up till? Is that right?
I don't believe so. I think you're maybe mixing that up with the other day.
Okay.
Or no, I'm sorry. You're correct. I'm thinking of North Attleboro. Yes, between 5 and 6.
Okay. So you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. But other parts of your memory, what happened to the box, you still don't recall. Is that right?
Objection, Your Honor.
Objection is a rule.
That's correct.
Okay, so there's, just in fairness, there are certain things you remember and other things you don't.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I thought I had asked you on Friday, Mr. Rankin asked you a few minutes ago about the spot, and did you understand what was meant in that text message? And I think today you indicated yes. Is that accurate?
Right, basing it off of what we spoke about last time. That's,
Okay, but on Friday, did I not ask you the same question if you understood, or if you knew what that was?
you did.
And what was your answer?
I believe I said no. I don't remember.
Okay, but is there something between Friday and today that assists your memory in remembering now what that meant in the text message?
With all the knowledge I have on it, yes.
Okay. So today you know what, or you believe you know what the spot is?
Yes.
And I think I asked you on Friday, well, did you ever have a conversation with Aaron about what he meant by the spot? Is that right?
Right.
And what did you tell me on Friday?
No.
And with regard to when you spoke to the police, you were asked certain questions. This was at the first interaction you had with them. Is that right?
Yes.
And Mr. Rankin was asking you about, did you know that Odin and Aaron, strike that Aaron was meeting or contacting Odin Lloyd the night, the early morning hours shortly before his death. Is that right?
Yes,
And you never have indicated that before, is that true?
that's true.
Okay. And with regard to the issue of, I think Mr. Rankin had asked you about, did you believe Aaron, the defendant, to be the friend of Odin Lloyd? And you had indicated yes, is that right?
Yes,
Okay. Do you recall saying at the grand jury, I don't really know about the relationship they had?
I don't recall that.
Okay. And do you recall the other day when I had approached you, the same answer at the grand jury, about describing the relationship between Aaron and Odin? You indicated it was cordial. I mean, they weren't best friends. I think they were trying to be mutual because obviously two sisters are dating, but it wasn't best friends. So I mean, I don't even know if they had things in common. So I kind of gave them their privacy, so I don't really know about the relationship they had.
Right, and I also did state that two people that engage in such a relationship and hang out as much, I don't see what another definition of friends would be. I mean, that's what I classified them as.
Okay. And so to the extent that you had any knowledge, you had described them as being cordial.
Right, I also said they weren't the best of friends, so
Okay.
that doesn't mean that they weren't friends.
No, I understand, but when I had asked you the other day about your relationship with Odin, you similarly described it as cordial.
Correct.
Okay. And I think you also had indicated to this jury that you essentially just knew some background information. You didn't know too much about Odin.
That's right.
Okay. Now, ma'am, you've indicated that at some point you made a decision about deciding to compromise and essentially tolerating his behavior?
Infidelity-wise, yes.
Okay. And was that before you decided when he proposed to you?
What do you mean, to move back in, or?
No, Mr. Rankin asked at some point the status of your relationship going back to the spring of 2013, and I think you indicated that at your baby shower, so sometime around October,
Right.
that the defendant had proposed to you.
Yes.
So my question to you was, when you said you decided to give in to the infidelity, was that before he proposed to you, or was it after?
Before.
Okay. So with regards to his infidelity afterwards, after he had now proposed to you, was that something that you were willing to accept?
I mean, yeah, I accepted it. We've moved on past that.
Okay. But just in terms of, it was your statement in response to a question by Mr. Rankin about whether you had compromised and therefore tolerated the behavior.
Right.
Okay, so in the spring of 2013, now that you were engaged to be married, were you still tolerating that behavior?
I was.
And were you tolerating behavior of infidelity with your babysitter?
I'm sorry?
Was that toleration extended as well to if he had engaged in a relationship with your babysitter?
Did I tolerate that?
Yes.
I mean, it wasn't necessarily knowledge I knew.
Okay, but you've indicated that you had compromised and was just going to let him engage in infidelity?
Right.
Okay, did that include the babysitter?
I mean, I guess so. I mean, it depends what your definition of infidelity is. I mean, mine is intercourse, so, I mean, that's not something that I know happened.
Okay. And again, it would only be your determination as to what you were prepared to tolerate, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, in terms of compromising and tolerating behavior, did you know whether that applied to him having guns.
No, I said infidelity.
Okay, so just infidelity.
Right.
So you did put your foot down as to certain things.
I definitely put my foot down to certain things, yes.
Okay. In fact, you described when you found this junk drawer, it was enough just to give a look, or maybe then say something
Right.
that caused at least the gun to no longer be in your junk drawer.
Correct.
Okay. And with regard to his use of drugs, was that something that you were tolerating?
Marijuana?
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And with regard to, but you put your foot down as to where he could do that in your home, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And so you were not essentially just allowing, or were you, him to do essentially whatever he wanted?
In all honesty, he's a grown man. I can't tell a grown man what to do. So, I mean, that was decisions he's supposed to make, and I accepted the fact that he would essentially grow up and mature within time. So that's something that I was willing to wait on.
Okay. But, so during this time, he was essentially doing what he wanted to do?
To a point, yes.
Okay. And obviously, certain things he was doing, you didn't necessarily want him to be doing?
That's correct.
Okay. And when he asked you to do things, you would do things for him, is that fair?
Yes.
You didn't choose to, it wasn't your box that you got rid of, is that right?
That's correct.
Now, if I have a moment, Your Honor, please. Your Honor, if I could use the overhead.
Me.
And ma'am, you were shown a photograph, Exhibit 27, that depicted a number of individuals who had come. There was a party, a birthday party for your birthday.
Yes.
And approximately how many people came?
Maybe 20, 25, maybe less.
And those people, were they all, they were acquaintances, some, and some were family members and some were friends, is that true?
Yes.
Ma'am, do you know what the defendant was holding here, his waistband?
I don't.
Had you ever seen him placing something in his waistband?
No.
Do you know whether this photograph was taken before or after you had had the discussion about the junk drawer?
I don't know.
And ma'am, just to clarify something, when you went to the Home Depot and then the Longhorn Steakhouse, that was on Monday evening, is that right?
I'm not sure of the exact.
Okay. approach. And I'm just gonna place what was marked as 416 Bank of America records. Directing your attention here, ma'am. The Home Depot in Mansfield, is that the Home Depot you recall visiting?
Yes.
And then just underneath it is the Longhorn Steakhouse in Mansfield. Recall that being on the same date?
Yes.
And as I understand it, the date actually is reflected at the 17th here.
Well, I object to that, Your Honor.
Objection sustained.
Okay, does that assist your memory, ma'am, on whether it was Monday versus Saturday?
No, I think my memory is pretty clear that we had gone right after, or that same day that we brought our daughter to her class.
Okay, and you're saying that was Saturday?
Yes.
Okay. Have one moment. Try this again if I could. Just on the statement page. See where I'm pointing to, ma'am, here, the Home Depot, this date here.
Yes.
What date does that show?
6/17.
Okay. And Longhorn Steakhouse,
6/17.
does that assist your memory in any way about the date you would have gone?
No, it doesn't.
And ma'am, you were also asked a question about whether you understood there was profound sadness by the defendant when his father had passed away.
Yes.
Did you see similar profound sadness in your sister when Odin Lloyd was found dead?
Objection, Your Honor.
Objection sustained.
Nothing further, no?
Couple of questions, Ms. Jenkins. You testified over the course of 2 days in the grand jury, right?
Yes.
And you were asked a bunch of questions about this box, correct?
Yes.
Taking the box out, correct?
Yes.
And were you ever asked what you thought was in the box?
Never.
Were you ever asked if it had any smell to it?
No.
Thank you.
You may step down.
If we could resume with our suspended witness, please, Your Honor. Eric Perry. Good afternoon, sir. Could you just give us your name again?
Good afternoon. My name is Eric, and my last name is Perry, P-E-R-R-Y.
And you began testifying here last Thursday afternoon, is that correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Your Honor, if I may approach the witness, please. And, sir, I'm going to show you an item. Do you recognize this item?
I do.
And what do you recognize that item to be?
It's a thumb drive which contains the call detail records, which we previously discussed, and which I used to conduct an analysis on.
You've taken that red arrow out or anything else that showed a location, is
Yeah,
that correct?
I
Not
hope
a
so.
tower, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna offer this as the substitute exhibit if I
I
may.
have no objection, Your Honor, but just to clarify, that thumb drive contains his compilation, it doesn't contain all the underlying phone records, right?
Correct.
No objection.
Maybe not, was the other one? already-
422,
So this is substituting for the previous exhibit.
yes, Your Honor.
Council want the previous one marked for identification.
That's fine, Your Honor, yes, please. If we could, Your Honor, now play from Exhibit 422. Now, just picking up from Thursday, this first portion of the exhibit shows what, please?
These are actually two voice calls that occurred on a phone number, AT&T phone number 8969, that occurred on June 16th, 2013, late in the evening.
And could you tell us, please, that comes from the voice record of that telephone number 8969, is that correct?
Yes.
And
I'm sorry, can I just have a moment with Mr. Bomberg? I'm confused again. This is the one again. Last Friday morning, just to try to- There's another one after this.
shows two voice calls on that cell phone 8969, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And the first call was at approximately 9:03 p.m., is that true?
Yes, it is.
And the location of the cell phone tower that the 8969 cell phone communicated with at 9:03 p.m. was where, please?
It was actually located in North Attleboro along Landry Avenue.
And the next cellular telephone call that you've plotted, could you tell us that occurred at 10:11 p.m. approximately, is that correct?
Yes.
And in the phone records, that's how they read, just not to the second, but to the minute, is that true?
With AT&T, just the minutes and seconds.
On the voice calls in particular?
Yes.
And where was that particular 10:11 p.m. Cellular telephone call, where did that communicate with the tower, please?
That would have occurred on a tower located in the south part of Providence, Rhode Island. I believe
And,
that's where I-95 and Highway 95 intersect.
And does the next slide show with greater detail the location of that particular tower?
It's going to be a zoomed in for that particular tower, yes.
And does that tower appear down there where the blue dot is located?
Yes, sir, it does.
And you traveled yourself to that location, is that correct?
Yes.
And could you tell us, did you observe where the South Street Cafe was?
Yes, sir, I did.
And where is that, please?
It's located along the intersection of Richmond Street and South Street in Providence, Rhode Island.
And within sight of that particular cell tower that you've documented there with the blue dot, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, did you also observe the cell phone call detail records of the cell phone 860-502-2593?
Yes, I did.
And could you tell us, please, the location of the calls to and from that particular cell phone on the night of June 17th of 2013, please?
Trying to do my best in chronological order. The first call that I was able to map, again, these are voice calls for that number, occurred at 8:50 p.m., in which it was utilizing AT&T cell tower on Landry Avenue.
And is that the same cell tower that you identified in relationship to the 8969 number?
Yes, it is.
They're same carrier?
Same carrier, AT&T, yes.
And does that particular cell tower provide coverage for the area of Ronald C. Meyer Drive?
It's actually located just, the cell tower is located just south of that address, so yes.
Continue, please.
The next call that I can map, actually, the phone appeared to have traveled from the vicinity of Landry Avenue, and it was utilizing the same cell tower I just previously testified to in the south part of Providence, Rhode Island, in the vicinity of the I-95 and Highway 95. There are several voice calls that occurred starting at 11:18 p.m. on June 16th, and then going into the early morning hours of June 17th of 2013. All the call events, one was 11:18 p.m., another one at 12:05 p.m. We have three events, or three calls that occurred at 12:11 p.m., and then another one at 12:12. I'm going to go back and correct. I apologize. That was my mistake. 11:18 p.m., and then we're getting into the early morning hours of June 17th. So that's going to be 12:05 a.m. And then we have three calls at 12:11 a.m., and then another one at 12:12 a.m.
And, if I may, Your Honor, I'm going to show you Exhibit 227. Do you recognize this as being a receipt from the South Street Cafe?
It has the name South Street Cafe on the top with an address. It does appear to be a receipt.
And does that indicate what time the check was opened?
I have a date of June 16, 2013 at 9:37 p.m.
And does it indicate what time the bill was paid?
It does say a check closed on June 17, 2013 at 12:19 a.m. Or actually 12:19 and 56 seconds a.m.
Now, in addition to mapping out those voice calls, did you review the record to observe text messages that were actually also being sent and received from that cellular telephone during this period of time between 9:37 p.m. and 12:18 a.m. on the cell phone first 2593?
For 2593, yes.
And just taken from exhibit number 303, you've observed these records, these cell site location records for that particular telephone 2593, correct?
Yes, I did.
And during that period of time, could you tell us, were there text messages between 2593 and the number 4304?
Yes, sir.
And what time do those text messages between the 2593 number and the 4304 number begin, please?
I've located one here at 11:29 p.m., 11:30 p.m., 11:31 p.m., 11:32 p.m., and now into June 17, 2013, at 12:04 a.m. Another one at 12:10 a.m., 12:11 a.m., 1:21 a.m. That's outside the,
That's outside of
Yeah.
that particular time frame. Is that correct?
yes.
In fact, looking at, again, 227, the receipt indicating that the check was paid at 12:18 or thereabouts, correct, AM?
Yes, there's a, yes.
Closed out at 12:19 and 56 seconds in the morning, correct?
Yes,
Do you observe in the record 303 then movement of the phone number, cellular phone number ending in 2593?
Well, I object to movement of the cellular phone number, and I also object to this inquiry with this particular document on the screen, which doesn't seem to relate to these calls.
Objection to movement is allowed.
Does the cellular telephone tower that the phone number 2593 change after 12:19 a.m.?
yes, it does.
And if you could go to the next slide, please. Could you tell us now, looking at the next slide, does that indicate that the cellular telephone tower is now different in a phone call occurring after that 12:19 a.m.?
Yes,
And where is that cellular telephone tower located with reference to this slide, please?
it's still located within the vicinity of Providence, Rhode Island, but it's actually utilizing a tower to the west.
And could you tell us, please, according to the record, with what telephone number now is 2593 communicating at that particular time, and what is the time according to the record?
This is a voice call that occurred at 12:26 a.m., and his phone number 2593 is in contact with phone number 4304.
And could you tell us, please, the next call, voice call between 2593 and a number?
The next call that I was able to locate was at 12:38 a.m. on June 17, 2013.
And where is the tower located that the call is sent to from the telephone number 2593?
This particular call occurred on a cell tower in the North Attleboro area along Route 1.
And in both of these calls, 2593 is the originating number, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And 4304 is the number that is being called, is that true?
Yes.
Now, if we could, next slide, please. Did you look at the cellular telephone records for the number 860-845-4304 for the night into the early morning of June 17th of 2013, and where that phone was communicating?
Yes, I did.
And could you describe for us, please, what the records show about where the cell phone tower is located that 4304 is communicating with?
There are several voice calls on phone number 4304, which utilize a Sprint cell tower, which is indicated by the yellow dot and at the end of the yellow arrow. The specific started at 12:05 a.m., and then we have 3 calls at 12:11 a.m., another call at 12:12 a.m., one at 12:25 a.m., one at 12:37 a.m., and one at 1:09 a.m.,
Now,
all using the same tower.
all using the same tower, is that correct?
Yes,
And does that tower provide coverage of the area of Ronald C. Meyer Drive?
based on the vicinity and the adjoining towers, yes.
And, Your Honor, if we could play from Exhibit 150, the home surveillance video, beginning,
Well, I object to that, Your Honor.
The objection is sustained.
could I be seen briefly at the site, Your Honor? Now, focusing in just on that Sprint cellular telephone 845-4304, you've plotted there a last call, 1:09 and 26 seconds in the morning on June 17th. Is that correct? From that tower?
Yes, sir.
And if we could go to the next slide, does the cellular telephone tower that the phone then communicates with over the next series of communications, are those towers in different locations?
Yes, sir, it is.
And were you able to plot those locations
Yes,
from the records?
from the records,
And
yes.
if we could, the next particular communication, do you see, is that displayed here now on this slide?
Yes, it is. It's actually, again, the cell towers are indicated by yellow dots, and then there's a blue circle with a highlighted circle to just highlight the specific tower which was utilized at the particular time, which is reflected in the text box to the left.
And this shows that 1:09 and 26 second call, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Last call on that list.
Yes.
The next call, please. Could you tell us where that tower was located and what the time the communication was there, please?
This actually, again, the tower's highlighted by the red circle. This is actually a tower located in the vicinity of North Attleboro along Highway 95, or Interstate 95, and that occurred at 1:14 and 28 seconds on June 17, 2013.
And the number that initiates the call is what, please?
That is phone number 4304, placing a phone call to 2593.
And the next call, please?
This is a cell tower. It's at the bottom of the screen, located just along the state line between Rhode Island and Massachusetts, along Interstate 95. This is a call that occurred on June 17, 2013 at approximately 1:22 and 42 seconds a.m.
And the cellular telephone number that was called?
The number called was phone number, area code 617-785-3008.
For 3008. I'm sorry? 3008. If I just may approach the witness, please. That cellular telephone number 3008 is subscribed to in what name, please?
This is a T-Mobile cell phone. It's subscribed. Billing account information is Odin, O-D-I-N, last of Lloyd, L-L-O-Y-D. That's the account name. The mobile number name as well is Odin Lloyd.
Now, at the time of that, what was the time of that call, please?
This call occurred at 1:22 a.m.
And the next call from 4304, did you find that in the record and locate the cell tower that was communicated with during that call?
This is actually a cell tower. It's located in the middle of the exhibit. This occurred on June 17, 2013 at approximately 1:52 a.m. It's utilizing a cell tower in the kind of the Foxborough vicinity along I-95.
And what is the calling number of, in that particular call, please?
The calling number is 4304.
And what number is called in that call?
It's the number, T-Mobile number 3008.
The next call, please.
This is a call that occurred on June 17th, 2013 at 2:24 a.m. in the morning. This was actually utilizing a cell tower in the vicinity of Interstate 93 up in the Dorchester, Boston area.
And could you describe, the building, is that cell tower located on a building?
I believe it's in a big white building. I can't remember the name of it. I apologize. I'm not too familiar with the area. But
Right on the side of the highway, is that correct?
yes.
And what was the number placing the call there, please?
Again, this is phone number 4304 calling 3008.
And the next call, did you develop the location of that call from the record?
I identified and was able to locate where this tower was from the record, yes.
And could you tell us what time is the next call, and again, the location of the cell tower that is used in the course of that call, please.
Again, this is a cell tower just west of Interstate 93. This is a call that occurred on June 17, 2013 at approximately 2:25 a.m. It's a phone call placed from the Sprint phone 4304 to the T-Mobile phone 3008. And this is actually, I believe, it was in a red rust-colored warehouse. This is where the tower is located.
And were you able to locate the next call in the Sprint cellular telephone record of 4304?
Yes, it was.
And could you tell us where that particular tower is located, please?
That particular tower is located down in the vicinity of Dorchester. Again, it's located in the middle, it's the bottom portion of this exhibit in the center of the yellow highlighted circle. This call occurred at June 17, 2013 at 2:32 a.m. This was a outbound call from the Sprint phone of 4304 to the T-Mobile phone of 3008.
And when you received your training, did you receive training on being able to determine sort of coverage of a particular cell phone tower?
Yes, sir, I did.
And could you describe, is there an industry-accepted standard of how you go about doing that?
Yes, there is.
And could you describe to the jurors, please, what the standard is and how that standard is performed in the field?
We've received training and certification in a process called drive testing, radio frequency drive testing, which is a process in which utilize a GPS will obtain your location every second. And utilizing a phone of the specific carrier, we are able to determine your location and then determine from that location what cell tower your phone is communicating with. That information can be collected and utilized to provide a coverage map. This is a process that most of the providers utilize in conjunction with, or as well as us, to determine the what we call a footprint of a particular tower sectors for network optimization to isolate any dead areas to make sure that they have provide a common, even coverage area for a particular area.
Now, did you use the record from the Sprint company's cell tower locations in order to determine a location of that particular call and the sector of the cell site that was used to make the call?
I isolated the particular tower and sector that was utilized to make the call at 232, and I did determine the footprint of that tower, or that sector.
Of that particular sector, is that correct?
Yes.
And the sector that was actually used to make this call at 2:32 in the morning, is that true?
Yes.
And could you tell us sort of how you did that in reference to this particular call? Not sort of the general approach, but how did you do that in regards to this particular call?
First of all, I identified the cell tower and located the cell tower based on the GPS coordinates provided by the provider. I then utilized a Sprint phone in conjunction with our JDSU platform, our drive test platform, which is a platform utilized by major providers as well. And I drove that entire region ad nauseum. I tried to cover as many streets as possible to determine the actual perimeter or the actual coverage area for that sector.
And I've just gone to the next slide. This is that particular tower that was used by 4304 at 2:32 in the morning. Is that correct?
This slide here?
Yes.
Yes, the one that's still highlighted, yes.
And this just provides greater detail of that area. Is that true?
Yes, it does.
And so with reference to this slide, could you describe to the jurors, please, sort of how you went about driving in that area?
Try to cover as many streets as possible. We drive, once you identify, as you're doing your drive test, the platform provides a real world, you can actually visually see the information as it's transmitted to and from your phone on your laptop. And what it does, it allows you to give you real-time feedback to know if you're in your target sector. And what I did is I tried to drive, again, like I said, ad nauseum, to drive as thoroughly as possible until I felt comfortable that I was outside the perimeter of that coverage area as well as inside, and I fully get the coverage area.
And were you able to then document the results of your drive test of that area on a map.
Yes, it was.
And I'm showing you now the next slide. Could you tell us what this slide shows, please?
That is the result of the RF drive test that I did, and that's the coverage area for for Tower 37 that was in that sector that was utilized for that 2:32 a.m. call.
And does this particular map, if you could orient us, show the area of Faiston Street and Blue Hill Ave and the adjoining streets?
Yes, it does. It's actually Faiston's going to be at the farthest reach on the left side of the slide. It's
And if
labeled
you-
Faiston, which kind of runs kind of almost northwest from Grove Hall.
And if we could just point that out over here, and you could,
It's actually Faiston. There you go, Faiston Street, and Blue Hill is going to be the yellow road that runs kind of south to north and north to south. It'd be just west of the Faiston Street label.
and so the area that's depicted here in yellow, is that the area of coverage of that sector of the tower that you've described to us?
Yes, it is.
Next slide, please. Now, did you then utilize the T-Mobile records documenting 5 text messages sent and received from the Odin Lloyd's phone, the 3008 phone?
Yes, I did.
And just focusing in on those 5 text messages, do you see this next slide?
I do.
And could you tell us what's depicted there, please, and the time of the text message?
At the top of the screen, I located as T-Mobile cell towers utilized to send a text message on June 17, 2013 at approximately 3:07 a.m.
And where is that particular cell tower located?
Vicinity of Canton, Massachusetts.
And does that cell site provide coverage of the area of Route 95?
Based on the proximity and location, I would say yes.
And could you describe for us, please, the location of the next communication text message with 3008 and the T-Mobile network?
This tower is located a little southwest of the previous tower. It's highlighted by the red circle. This is it's located on Interstate 95. This is actually a text message that occurred on June 17, 2013 at approximately 3:11 a.m.
The next text communication with the Odin Lloyd phone and the T-Mobile network, did you locate that particular tower?
Yes, I did.
And could you tell us, is that shown now in this slide?
Yes, it is.
And could you describe that communication for us, please?
This was a text message sent from the T-Mobile phone of 3008, and this actually occurred at 3:19 a.m. on June 17, 2013.
And did you locate from the T-Mobile records the next communication of 3008 and the T-Mobile network?
Yes, I did. This is actually, this occurred on a cell tower located in the vicinity of Interstate 295 and Interstate 95 at the northern junction of that intersection. This occurred at this particular text message occurred on June 17, 2013 at 3:22 a.m.
And these T-Mobile records actually give you right down to the second of the text message, is that correct?
Yes, I do, actually.
And this text message and the 2 text messages that follow, could you describe for us, please, do they all occur using the same cell site location in the T-Mobile system?
They do.
And are they all communications between the Odin Lloyd cell phone and the same particular other cell phone on the other end?
Yes, there's the next, these text messages all occur between the same two numbers.
And if we could just go through to the next, I think you went, the next message after the 3:22:10 is at what time?
This occurred at 3:22 and 40 seconds in the AM.
And then the last text communication from Mr. Lloyd's phone, is that shown there?
Yes, it is. The last text message was at 3:23 and 06 seconds in the AM of June 17, 2013.
Now, did you then perform a drive test of that particular cell phone tower, of those three last text messages that Mr. Lloyd's phone used to communicate with the T-Mobile system?
Yes, I did.
And if we could have the next slide, please. Have you shown the coverage of that particular cell tower here on this map?
Yes, it's indicated by the blue colors.
And if you could just orient us to what's depicted here in the map, please.
We actually have the cell tower location is indicated at the very bottom, which is a red cell tower. You have the lighter blue lines that extend from the cell tower. That's the approximate boundaries or sector boundaries for the tower and sector that was utilized for these three text messages.
And I see that there's areas colored in that are outside of those boundaries. Is that correct?
Yes, that's actually that's common within sectors. A lot of it has to depend on topography and geography and the lay of the land.
And in fact, does it also have to do with the design of the cell phone towers as well?
They try to, I mean, it does. I mean, it's more of a layout issue with the company as how they determine which areas they determine to cover.
Could you just orient us to in relationship of that tower to the exit from Route 95 at Robert Toner Boulevard? Could you orient us to that, please?
I can. Robert F. Toner Boulevard pretty much runs from east to west, right in the middle of the slide. It's actually indicated by the label of Robert F. Toner Boulevard. Just north of where the F intersects interstate, or where in the label there's an F in Robert F. Toner Boulevard, and I-95 runs through the middle of that label. You can see the off-ramp for southbound traffic. You actually have the southbound on I-95, you have the off-ramp onto Robert Toner Boulevard, but you also have the onbound, or the on-ramp to southbound right there as well.
And is the southern portion of John L. Deach Boulevard also located within that blue area?
Yes, it's actually that particular, if you were looking at that label in the middle that I just described, it would the intersection would be right around the O, or actually between the O and the R on Robert.
And you've been to that location, is that correct?
Yes, I have.
And you performed a drive test similar to what you've described in the vicinity of Facein Street as well, is that correct?
Yes, this is the results of my driving around that neighborhood again at nauseam.
Now, do you have, if we could just go, the next slide, does that show a close-up of the northern portion of the area that you drive tested along John L. Deach Boulevard?
Yes, it does.
And could you orient us to that portion of John L. Deach Boulevard, please?
I'm sorry, can you?
Could you orient us, I'm sorry, to that portion of John Deach Boulevard that's shown here in this particular slide?
Yes, I can. It's actually labeled there under, the label actually runs vertically. It says John L. Deach Boulevard in white. It's pretty much in the center of the exhibit where the blue coverage area ends.
And are you familiar with the area of Seekonk Supply, a business that's located on John L. Deach Boulevard?
I am.
And where is that located, please?
It's going to be located just on the west side of John L. Deach Boulevard. It's going to be, I believe, right in the vicinity where the SCH would be on John Deach.
And when you say
Yes.
the west side, you mean the left as we're looking at it, is that correct?
Yes.
This satellite image is north to the top, east to the right, and west to the left, is that correct?
I actually have a direction arrow in the upper left-hand corner, which is oriented the correct way.
Now, are you familiar with the business known as Metalore?
I am.
And where is that located, please, on this particular map?
It's going to be located on the east side of John L. Deach Boulevard, and I would say it'd be just perpendicular to where the J.O. in John.
Is that the location there?
That's the building, yes.
Now, Your Honor, if we could, and the last text message activity from Mr. Lloyd's phone was at 3:23:06 a.m., is that correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
If we could play from the, it is. The Exhibit 370B. And now, sir, just on 370B, subtracting 8 minutes and 7 seconds. This would now be 3:22 a.m., correct?
You said what was the time
8
frame?
minutes
you
and
adjust?
7 seconds.
8 minutes?
Subtracting.
It'd be roughly about, yes, 3:22 a.m.
Now coming up on 3:23 a.m.
Correct.
And again now, sir, subtracting 8 minutes and 7 seconds, we're at 3:27, 26 seconds. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
Your Honor, if we could play from exhibit number 150.
Me.
We're just now playing from camera 3 at 3:28, just 3:29. Real time, system time 3:26. About 3:29, 40. We had 2 minutes and 46 seconds at 3:30 in the morning, correct?
I apologize, when you first started, you said there was a 2-minute time,
2 minutes and 46 seconds.
then
in
that would
addition to
be,
that.
yeah, it'd be right around, you made me do math, right around 3:29.
3:30 in the-
3:30
Yep,
a.m.
okay, thank you. Now, did you plot then cell phone activity for later in the day on June 17th?
Yes, I did.
If we could return to your, to the exhibit. Next slide. Did you look at locations for the cellular telephone 2593?
Yes, I did. I believe that was in the late evening hours of June 17th, 2013.
Next slide, please. Focusing first on the earlier calls in the vicinity of North Attleboro, is that correct?
Yes, those were, they started there and moved south after, later on in the night.
Next slide. What does this slide show, please?
This is actually a text message that was received by phone number 2593, and that occurred at June 17th, 2013 at 11:43 p.m. And that was utilizing a tower in the vicinity of North Attleboro.
In the downtown area of North Attleboro, is that correct?
Yes.
And is it fair to say that's not the cell phone tower that the phone communicates with when it's at Ronald C. Meyer, is that correct?
That's correct.
And who's sending that text message into 2593 at 11:43 p.m. on June 17th?
That's a phone number ending in 8969.
Next slide, please.
No,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
was there a question? I'm sorry.
No,
I cut you
next slide, please.
off.
Go back.
Okay.
Is there a voice call during this same period of time?
Yes, there was.
And could you tell us with, and that's on the same cellular telephone tower, is that correct?
Yes, it is in North Attleboro.
And what number is the 2593 number communicating with, please?
This is with a phone number ending in 1170,
And the area code?
area code 949.
Next slide, please. Did you then plot the next voice call for the cellular telephone 2593 and which cellular telephone tower it communicated with?
This particular call actually utilized a different tower, and it's along Route 1, north of North Attleboro. This call occurred at 11:47 p.m. on June 17, 2013.
Next slide, please. Did you plot the next call?
Yes, it did.
And again, where's this cellular telephone communicating with?
It was utilizing the same cell tower as the previous call, north of North Attleboro along Route 1.
And these last two calls now, they're the same two telephone numbers that were used in the text in the voice call immediately preceding, is that correct? The 8969 and that 949 number, is that correct?
On this particular call?
This particular call, yeah, what is this?
Yes, I believe that's the number that was in contact at the previous tower in North Attleboro. There's a couple calls on that tower.
Next slide, please. What's the next voice call that the 2593 number communicates with the AT&T network?
This is actually a call that occurred at 11:59 p.m. And this was a call, this actually was utilizing an AT&T cell tower just west of 495, or southwest of 495 in the vicinity of Franklin, Massachusetts.
And with whom is the call being made?
This is actually a call between 2593 and the Sprint phone of 4304.
Next slide, please. Is this the next call that appears in the record?
Yes, it is.
And again, between what numbers is this particular call?
Again, this is the same two phone numbers as the previous call. This is the Sprint phone 4304 and the AT&T phone 2593, utilizing the same tower in the vicinity of Franklin, Massachusetts.
Next call. And did you do a drive test of the vicinity, or the coverage area of this particular cell phone tower that the call was using to communicate with 4304?
Yes, it did.
And did you utilize the same procedure that you described to us previously?
Yes, it did.
And is the coverage area of that particular cellular telephone tower located here on this map?
Yes, it is.
And again, you drove all of that area?
To the best of my ability, I was only able to drive the roads that I could drive on.
There are some locations where you can't go, is that correct?
Yes, and those are often, even though it's hard for me to sit stationary on the highway there, you can see the little sporadic green areas.
Now, did you go to an area known as 599 Old West Central?
Yes, yes, I did. In Franklin, yes.
In Franklin, in the town of Franklin, is that correct?
Yes, sir, I did.
And could you tell us what you observed at that location?
I observed the building, the structure, the apartment complex, in which sits in a bowl along the highway there, or just east of 495.
And is that location actually on this map?
It is on the map. Whether you can pick it out is another question, but I know I'm familiar with that area.
And is it within the coverage area of this particular cell phone tower?
Yes, it is.
Next slide, please. Next slide. Now, after that 1201 call, could you describe for us, please, the next cellular telephone call for the phone ending in 2593?
Yes, I can. That occurred at 12:07 a.m. I was utilizing the same cell tower as I did previously before going up to Franklin, along Route 1, just north of North Attleboro.
And what telephone number is the phone communicating with at that time?
This is in contact with that 949 area code phone number ending in 1170.
Next call, please. Were you able to locate the next call on the record of 2593?
Yes, I was.
And at what time was that?
This occurred at 12:13 a.m.
And with whom is the 2593 cellular telephone number communicating?
With the Sprint phone 4304.
And is that the location of the tower that was used there?
Yes, just along I-95.
Were you able to locate the next call that was used, or the next cellular telephone tower that was used in cellular telephone calls of 2593?
Yes, I was.
And is that located here on this next slide?
It is.
And what time was that, please?
This particular call occurred at 12:28 a.m.
And where's that cellular telephone tower located?
It's located along I-90 or Interstate 95, just north of Providence.
And who's involved in that communication?
Again, this is a call with the Sprint phone of 4304.
Next slide, please. Were you able to locate the next cellular telephone call of the telephone number 2593 in the tower that it communicated with?
Yes, sir. This is indicated on the bottom part of my exhibit along Interstate 95. This was utilizing an AT&T tower, cell tower in the vicinity of Warwick, West Warwick, Rhode Island. And this occurred on approximately 12:41 a.m.
And what two numbers are involved in that particular cellular telephone call?
This is a call between Sprint phone 4304 and AT&T phone 2593.
Were you able to locate the next cellular telephone voice call from the 2593 telephone?
Yes.
And where was that located, please?
This is actually located in the Coventry, West Warwick area of Rhode Island. It's along Interstate 95.
And at what time did that phone call occur?
This one occurred at 12:43 a.m.
And what two cellular telephone numbers were involved in that particular call?
The AT&T phone 2593 and the Sprint phone of 4304.
Were you able to locate the next cellular telephone call of the telephone number 2593?
Yes, I was.
And is that documented in the exhibit?
Yes, it is. It's actually same cell tower as the previous one. This call occurred at 12:45 a.m. and it was a call between the AT&T phone 2593 and the Sprint phone of 4304.
Next call, please.
This is a call that occurred on 1:02 a.m. It's utilizing an AT&T cell tower a little bit west of the previous one, still within the West Warwick Coventry area. And again, this is a call between the Sprint phone 4304 and AT&T phone 2593.
Did you locate the next call in the 2593 record?
Yes, this call occurred at 1:10 a.m. This is actually utilizing the same tower within the Coventry area along Hill Farm Road. And this is a call actually between a phone number of area code 617-930-1341 and the AT&T phone number of 2593.
And that number, the 617-930-1341 number, that's the call, that's the cell phone that's placing the call in. Is that correct?
Yes, it's the originating number.
Were you able to locate the next cellular telephone call related to the cellular telephone 2593?
Yes, this call occurred at 1:15 a.m. And it was utilizing the cell tower back in the West Warwick Coventry area along I-95. This was a call between the Sprint phone 4304 and AT&T phone 2593.
Now, the next call, does that also now show the 2593 number communicating with a different tower?
The next call?
The next call.
I apologize. It bounces back and forth between those two calls, so
Okay, I'm
I
sorry.
would have to look at my exhibit to.
Okay, next slide.
This is a call that it obviously utilized the tower up on Hill Farm Road in Coventry at 1:36 a.m. This
And
is-
what telephone numbers are communicating in that particular call?
This is a call between phone number 8969 and the AT&T phone number 2593.
Did you locate the next call?
I did.
And where was the phone communicating in the next call, please?
Utilized the same AT&T cell tower along Coventry, or in the vicinity of Coventry. This call occurred at 1:37 a.m.
And could you tell us the numbers that are involved in that particular call,
This
please?
is a phone number ending in 9171 and the AT&T phone of 2593.
And that call there, the 9171 number, that's the originating
Correct.
number, is that correct? Did you locate the next call on the record?
I did.
Could you tell us where that cell phone tower was, please?
Utilized the same tower as the previous slide in Coventry. This occurred at 1:38 a.m.
And what telephone numbers were involved in that communication?
Again, phone number ending in 9171 was in communication with the phone number of 2593.
Did you locate the next call?
I did.
And could you tell us, is that depicted in this slide?
It is.
And what numbers, where was that, and what time and what numbers were involved in that communication, please?
This was utilizing the cell tower back along Interstate 95 in the Warwick-Coventry area. This occurred at 1:40 a.m., and it was called between phone number 2593 and the phone number of 9171.
And in this particular call now, the 2593 is now the originating number, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you locate the next call?
This occurred at 1:45 a.m., and it continued to use that cell tower along I-95 in the Warwick-Coventry area. This is a call between Sprint phone 4304 and the AT&T phone 2593.
Now, did you also look at the cellular telephone records and the locations of that Sprint telephone number 4304 for the evening or night of June 17th into the morning of June 18th
Yes, it
of
did.
2013?
Yes, it did.
And if we could go to the next slide, please. Does this particular slide show where that cellular telephone 4304 was that evening, beginning at 9:48 p.m. and 29 seconds?
Yes, it does.
And where was that, please?
That phone was utilizing a cell tower, Sprint cell tower just west or southwest of 495 in the Interstate 495 in the Franklin, Massachusetts area.
And could you tell us, please, at that time, did the 4304 cellular telephone number receive an incoming call?
It did.
And what was the originating number of that incoming call to the Sprint 4304 number?
That call was received by, or I'm sorry, the call was, 4304 received a call from phone number 8969.
Now, did you locate the next cellular telephone communication call into that 4304 in the record?
I did.
And could you tell us what time that next call was and the location of the 4304 number at that time?
This was a call that occurred at 10:52 and 19 seconds p.m. on June 17th. And that was a call utilizing a cell tower along Interstate 295 southwest of Providence. That was a call that was received from the phone number 8969.
Now, Your Honor, if I could play from exhibit number 150, please. We're going to go to camera 3. Beginning 9:40 and 51 seconds system time plus 2 minutes and 46 seconds real time. We're now on camera 8, Your Honor, 9:41:25, system time plus 2 minutes and 46 seconds to the real time on June 17th. Go to camera 9, Your Honor. just stop that at 9:46 system time, plus the 2 minutes and 46 seconds for the real time. We could resume with the... Did you plot the, locate and plot the next activity on that 4304 number after the 10:52 PM that you just described?
Yes, I did.
And could you tell us what activity that was and where the phone, the 4304 number, and with whom it was communicating, please?
This was utilized a tower south from the previous one along Interstate 95 in the Coventry, West Warwick area. This call occurred at 11:03 and 4 seconds p.m. That was it was an inbound call to the Sprint phone of 4304 from AT&T phone number 2593.
Did you locate the next call?
Yes, I did. This call occurred at 11:22 and 36 p.m. This call, again, this is actually utilizing a tower again along Interstate 95. And I'm going to apologize, even though I've driven this route many times, I'm still not 100% familiar with the area. But again, it's along I-95. Looks like we're at the state line with Connecticut. And this was a call between phone number 8969 and phone number 4304.
And the calling number is that 8969 number, right? That's the call, the phone placing the call.
Correct.
Locate and plot the next call activity on that 4304 number.
This is a call that occurred in the Groton, Connecticut area along I-95 at approximately 11:36 and 57 seconds in the PM. This is, again, an inbound call, place 2, 4304 from the AT&T phone number 8969.
Did you locate and plot the next call into the 4304 number?
This is a call that occurred at 11:43 and 56 seconds in the PM. This call happened just west of New London, Connecticut, utilizing a tower in the vicinity of the intersection of Interstate 395 and I-95. This is a call, again, from an inbound call to the Sprint phone 4304 from AT&T phone 8969.
Did you locate the next call activity on that cellular telephone 4304?
Yes, I did. This call occurred on a tower in the vicinity of Highway 9, halfway between, I would say, between Middletown, Connecticut, and Essex, Connecticut. This call occurred at 11:58 and 53 p.m. 11:58 and 53 seconds p.m. This is a call between an inbound call placed to the Sprint phone of 4304 from AT&T phone of 2593.
Did you locate the next call activity on that cellular telephone 4304?
Yes, this is a call that occurred on a Sprint cell tower, again along Highway 9 in Connecticut at 12:01 and 1 seconds in the AM. And this is actually into the morning of June 18, 2013. This call was an inbound call to the Sprint phone from a phone number of the AT&T phone of 2593.
You locate the next call activity of that Sprint telephone 4304.
This call occurred at 12:09 and 12 seconds in the AM. This is a inbound call to the Sprint phone from a phone number of 8969.
And where was that cell tower located?
That was actually located right along the highway, Highway 9 in Connecticut, just southeast of Middletown, Connecticut.
Did you locate the next call to the 4304 number?
This call occurred at 12:13 and 8 seconds in the AM, and that was an inbound call to the Sprint phone placed by the AT&T phone of 2593.
And where is that call cell tower located?
Apologize for that. It's along Highway 9, again southeast of Middletown, Connecticut.
Now, did you locate the very next call on that cellular telephone number 4304?
Yes, this actually utilized the Sprint cell tower actually near the, I think it's Middlesex County in Highway 9 in Connecticut. And that occurred at 12:28 and 14 seconds in the AM. That was an inbound call to the Sprint phone from the AT&T phone of 2593.
Now, did you locate the next call on that cellular?
Because this testimony is expected to last more than another 10 or 15 minutes, we're going to stop at this point for today and resume tomorrow. Please, again, keep an open mind. Continue to avoid anything at all about this case or Mr. Hernandez that might appear in any newspaper, radio, magazine, television, any other form of media, any social media, Facebook or Twitter. Please continue to avoid speaking or emailing or texting or in any other fashion communicating in any form with anyone about this case or Mr. Hernandez. And if anyone attempts to talk to you about your jury service, this case or Mr. Hernandez, please stop any such communication immediately. Please do not do any research about this case, Mr. Hernandez, or anything you think might be relevant in any way to this case. Have a good rest of the day, and we will see you tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Channel 1. 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 Channel 1.